It's like women wearing heels. It's not about comfort. It's about getting.
Subscribe to the podcast, KFC Radio on YouTube.
Bang.
We were just talking to Tara about your time at Comedy Central.
Okay. Are we on?
Yeah, we're just letting it rip. Is that
okay.
cool?
Can you hear me okay? What's the...
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, you're good.
You're going to talch about the failure? Is that what...
Well, we're kind of trying to do something similar, I think, at least, with kind of a transitional period here at Barstool. We were talking about trying to build up with stand-up comics and internet influencers and comedian, all that shit. And to me, I'm like, it seems like it should work and it should be easy and there's so much talent out there, and
I think it's hard when it's like with Comedy Central, their whole audience is South Park or Daily Show, so it's like they also put a group of 5 of us, and there was like I was like the white girl, and like there was like a black guy, and there's an Asian guy, and it was like very like, and we all became really good friends, but we started a talk show with like there was like we were all like there's one of each of us like and that was kind of the
college
joke
brochure.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. And then we eventually became very good friends, and like it worked. But I think as a talk show, 1 with 5 people is a lot, and 2 it was just like we were getting to know each other, and the rhythm wasn't there yet, so it's like and YouTube,
impossible.
Yeah, it felt impossible.
I mean, that's like when you start a podcast, you need like a couple years before you're even like really hitting your stride.
Yeah, and like now we look at the numbers and everyone's like, oh, those numbers are like actually pretty good. But like at the time, it was like, you know, when you're on a, like you should hit these numbers by this time.
Jon Stewart and
all these,
you know, Matt and Trey. Yeah.
Exactly. It just.
What year was like what time?
I mean, and
I
still work there, so I do love the company, but that was 2017, I think. Because I've been there 5 years.
2017 is kind of like right at the
2018.
time where like you were probably like your TV numbers were like you're still trying to hit the older version.
Yeah,
of
that's
TV
that
numbers.
transitional time
And
that's
then
like very tough.
Yeah, I can't
like,
imagine trying to figure
how many
that out.
followers do you have, how many views you're getting on the internet. No, but what's your Nielsen ratings, like all that sort of shit, you know?
Yeah, they were just figuring out the internet aspect of it, and they were comparing it to like cable days.
Right.
So
like in 2012, we were hitting this. How are we like plummeting and you don't really know where else to pivot to? I can see that. That was like that was kind of when Veep 2 was. I've been rewatching Veep and towards the end there, Dan Egan is working at a news station. And he's doing like Good Morning America.
One of the best characters ever. He's such a
unbelievable,
dick. Such an awful dude. I love him.
But and he gets like fired. And they're like, and he's going over, but don't worry, he'll have a home on digital. And they're making it like really mean.
Yeah.
No, it's probably gonna get more eyeballs.
Yeah, no, now that's like a good thing. But there was that period of time where if you were, this was supposed to be on the air, but now it's living on digital. It was like,
Yeah, and I wouldn't say like they just don't have they don't do the same like show that we were the original 5 creators, but like one of the guys I started with is a writer on Dave and was also in a huge Netflix show. I forget what it was called, but he's filming a movie in Puerto Rico right now.
Right.
And my other friend writes for Jimmy Fallon, so I'm like,
everybody did all right.
You guys gave me like the Washington Redskins football staff.
Except for me. Oh wait, what?
You guys gave me like the Redskins coaching staff, where it's like we had Matt LaFleur and Sean McVay, and I forget what the third coach was.
Yeah, I mean
Kyle Shanahan.
But that's kind of how these things work. I think is like you look back on. I've gotten very corny as I've gotten older with the whole like there's no such thing as failure, where it's like you really were like getting better at whatever or preparing for something that you didn't even know was coming down the road. But now, you know.
I feel that way because I started when I first moved to New York. I moved here because my manager was like, move to New York. And I like...
Where'd you come from?
LA. I started in LA because I went to USC. So I just started in college and was doing it there. And my manager was like, come to New York. And at this point I was like rejected by all like management and agents and like every guy that lived there. So I was like, all right, I'll move to New York. And then I was walking dogs for WAG. That was like my first job. But then I got a job at Comedy Knockout a few months in. But like recently, I'm going to Tokyo for my birthday. We're trying to like get a lot of money to like do crazy shit.
Yeah.
So I like re-downloaded WAG and I'm still an active like dog walker. But like,
you make bank off that shit, right?
I mean, no.
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing here? Aren't you rich? You walk dog?
I mean, you can make like
I see
$25 an hour.
Yeah, but I feel like I watch these people who are walking like 30 dogs at once.
Yeah, but that's because they have a private practice, you know? And they're like...
private practice.
Yeah,
it's like being a dentist or I own my own firm.
Those guys have pools in their houses.
Yeah, but they also started, years ago. It's kind of like a podcast. Yeah. So
The original dog walkers.
yeah.
Like, what's the most dogs you ever walked?
I did like one, and it had like diarrhea, and I called my dad crying.
Dude,
I'm like,
when
"I
you're
can't do
walking
this."
a dog with diarrhea, it is.
A golden retriever.
With the hair and everything.
I have a dog, and like or my family has a dog, and there's sometimes I was walking out of the house and I'm like, fuck, I forgot a bag. You better not fucking shit out of here. and there are times too where like, and usually I'll just let her poop and I'll move on. But there was one time she was staying with me. I lived in Boston at the time, and my parents went on vacation, so they were like, can you watch her? I took her, and I obviously wasn't feeding her standard diet and stuff like that. She was getting like
eating scraps,
pizza,
whatever the fuck.
shit like that. And she was living like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. And
You're poisoning your dog.
yeah, it turns out I was. And like I would walk her on like busy streets in Boston, and she would have like the worst diarrhea, and I would have to just stand there
and you just watch, like
pretending I'm gonna pick it up, and then just sprint. Be like, what am I supposed to do with this? It's like it's like Kevin trying to pick up the chili, like getting paper and trying to pick up. I'm not gonna pick this up.
When you think about the idea of like we as humans are just like standing there on a leash while a dog just shits. We're just like, yeah.
They have the respect to not look at you. like imagine your dog was staring you dead in the eye.
Look away, look away.
I'm fixing you up a nice meal right now. Why don't you pick that up?
My dog like goes to high grass, so she'll like hide because she's
she's a lady.
She's a lady. So.
I'm gonna shit outside.
That's the dog version of running the faucet.
Exactly.
One of the craziest moves in the world.
I like to just ask, like, would you just wash your hands for 10 minutes?
That is so
Who's
funny.
doing that? And, like, a girl you're gonna hook up with?
Girls,
I know so many girls.
But they take a shit in your place?
No. But even just peeing. They put the faucet on.
Shits too.
Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine if you put it on for pee, you definitely put it on for shit. Yeah. But I think that's one of the silliest things in the goddamn world.
Yeah, that's just because if you're peeing and putting on the faucet, I'm gonna be like, you're definitely taking a shit.
Yeah, like you're definitely. I just feel
also
like,
that faucet isn't as loud as you think it is.
Yeah, I can still hear that. I do feel bad though because we can kind of control it. You know what I mean? We can go off the backboard or like the front, the side rim.
Oh, you're saying when you pee?
If you're not trying to make noise, you guys got no control over that situation. I've
done way worse things in front of a guy than like the sound of pee. If that's where the deal breaker is for him, we're gonna have a long road. So I don't care.
That's what I'm saying. Like I don't know if it's a age thing, an experience thing, or just a personality thing. But if we're worried about the sound of humans peeing, we are in trouble,
I like when
dude.
a girl goes to the bathroom and faucet runs for the better part of an hour.
Who are you dating? Who are these girls?
And then they come back. I'm thinking like in staying in hotels and stuff like that. Oh. And then they come back. It's like in the morning. And they come back and they're like cuddling. And you're like, all right, I gotta go to the bathroom. And they're like, no, stay and cuddle. And I'm like, no, I gotta pee. And it's like, no, let's just like hang out for a little bit.
Sounds like a very specific time. We were on vacation and my girl blew that bathroom up.
It's happened on numerous occasions.
That is very funny.
I actually did. I was using the bathroom recently. And it was, for some reason, a particularly high toilet. And,
were you dangling?
And I wasn't dangling, but I was sitting how I imagine a lot of women sit. And I was like,
"Oh, do tell."
I was like, this is very infantilizing. I feel dainty. Like, I have to be on my tippy toes to touch the floor. I was like,
where were you?
I don't. I think it was a hotel. To be honest, I think it was a hotel.
Some giant hotel.
And I was like, this is uncomfortable. Like, I'm a man. I'm shitting like a man right now. What the hell's going on?
Bro.
I've never taken a shit and been like, oh, I feel dainty with my feet. Like, I don't
really?
know. Yeah, no.
Maybe I'm just thinking about like because of that. I picture like.
I mean, this toilet must be enormous if you felt like you.
Bro,
were...
I'm 100. No, I know where it is. It's my fucking parents' house. My goddamn, you've used this toilet. It didn't happen to you.
The toilet in the basement. I definitely don't remember that.
I
didn't
take
a shit in your basement.
What the fuck is going on here?
Dude, I don't think I've told you this. The toilet I have currently, I live in like the hood right now. I'm getting a house soon, and for the last like 6 months have been in a terrible apartment. It's a toilet for ants. It is so small, and the sink, I'm not kidding, is like probably like here. So I sit like sideways. So like, your ass fits like in the hole the way it's designed. So if you turn sideways, it's super uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm like, who? How? What? It's like a Hobbit house.
And that's not even in the city. That's like
it's in the Bronx. Yeah, it's like. It's very demoralizing.
I just
stage in life
renovated my apartment, and I got a toilet that's really small, and I was sitting on it, and I was like, holy shit, like, I need to date a very small man. Like, there's no way I can date a full-size man. And I bought this place, so I'm not going anywhere.
You just didn't think about it? You were just like,
you better be under 5'9".
Yeah, you would be like the queen of Hinge. Give me all your short bodies. Let's go.
You know what? I date guys who are, like, my height, and I'm 5'6". I've dated, and then they reject me, and I'm just like... That's stings
bullshit.
Harder.
That's bullshit.
Yeah.
Honestly, as they walk out the door, I'd be like, "You fucked up, dude."
Good luck finding someone as good as me. You can actually mean it. It's gonna be tough out there for you, little one.
I don't know. I feel like short guys.
Their toilets aren't even gonna fit you, okay?
No, I feel like now short guys are like having a having a
It's
time.
a little bit of a moment. Yeah, I feel like the short kings like joke kind of also became a little bit of a reality. But I also still think there's just the straight up snobs who are like, don't even match with me if you're under 6 feet. I mean, we've come across girls who have been like 6'3" and above. I'm like, what are we,
the moment it got taller than me, I was like, hang on a second.
Discrimination.
What's up with you uppity shit?
But do you think the girl's really tall? Because maybe it's.
I mean, these were
volleyball players.
These were like, borderline models and shit. So, I guess those are girls who can maybe make those standards. But I was like,
I was out
6'3".
I was out with a buddy last weekend. This is actually a friend of a friend, and he's 6'7". And
normal person?
And yeah.
The worst.
And
but it's also like what happened in his life that he's like working an office job.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's the worst because like as a guy, right away you're viewed as a failed basketball player.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, well, you play basketball? I was like, no. and then it's every other sport too. Like, oh, you couldn't play football, you couldn't do something. So then it's like, not only were you not good, you must be a total spaz because even bad players will still get a look if you're 6'7". So it's like you extra suck, and you also don't fit in airplanes and beds and cars and all that other shit.
Well, that's what men think when they look.
Right. Sure, this is all ridiculous. Yeah,
it was
like,
absolutely
I'm gonna
like,
fuck this guy.
It was like I was like out with Emily Ratajkowski. We were just at a bar in Boston, and it was just women coming up to him nonstop, being like,
"It's crazy."
Like one woman was like, "I'm going to my car." Because he was like, I'm 6'7". Because she's like doe-eyed. It's like, how tall are you? He's like, I'm 6'7". Like you can tell, like, he gets it all the time. Yep. She's like, no, you're not. He's like, I am. Showed her his license. This has to be a fake. It's like, I'm 34. What are you talking about? I don't have a fake ID.
It's also like you're like staring up at me, obviously.
What don't you think is 6'7" about me?
She goes, I work in construction or architecture, whatever she did. She's like, I have a measuring tape. But it wasn't. She used whatever word someone in her field would know for. Like it was like electronic. Like she was like go like that and see how big it is. She's like, I'm going to the car. First of all, this woman was hammered. I was like, you have a car here?
But Boston, I believe it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm going to get it and come back. He's like, I feel like it's how like most women have to interact with people at bars. Like, I've humored you long enough. Like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
like,
goodbye.
You're not going to get an electronic measuring tape and coming back here. Like, that's not happening. Don't fucking do that.
I have a friend who's 6'5", and he's a good looking dude too. He's got like a John Mayer look to him.
Okay.
And yeah, for real. Smart guy
Can he
too.
poop
Like
standing up.
But he I mean, like the doe-eyed effect is. He calls it the fishbowl, where they just go, "You're tall."
My boyfriend in college was 6'5", and it was like
that's big.
Yeah, but it was honestly kind of annoying because he could never hear when I spoke, so he'd be like, "What?" Yeah. He's also from Southern California, and he's really great, but he'd be like, "What?" Oh, and I'd be like, "Shut the fuck up."
So you're 5'6". You said right, 5'6"?
5'6".
Dating 6'5", I feel like you're not like you're kind of right in between there. I know when girls who are like 5'9", 5'10" get mad when short girls date tall guys. It's almost like leave those for us because I want to be able to wear heels and I want to be able,
Yeah, now his girlfriend, I've seen photos, and she is like 6 feet, and I'm like, that's a they because I feel like they can have a conversation. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they can hear each other.
They can talk in public.
Yeah, they can go to their kids' sports games and just.
I can't imagine being 6'5", 6'7". Like I can't hear now.
Yeah.
I'm leaning down just to people who are like a couple inches shorter than me, not a foot.
Exactly.
It's fucking crazy.
Also, tall guys die sooner. No one talks about it, but it's like...
Well, like if they're like 8 feet tall, but are like 6'5" guys dying early?
Yeah, it's like golden retrievers living to 10 or 12. You know what I mean? Like, the tall guys...
You're beautiful and you're a great breed, but we're not going to have you for a long time.
Yeah, and you have to cremate that. You can't just get it. That coffin's going to be so expensive. Every time I see a tall guy, I'm like, I just don't have the money to support our children after you die so young.
Everyone's great about you, life insurance policy because I don't have the money.
You are my dream guy, but the funeral is gonna wipe me out.
Yeah.
Wipe me
Who's
out.
carrying that horse to the fucking top? Not me. So, yeah. Tall guys, I don't know. I've been dating.
You said
short.
you dated like a guy your height, because 5'6" is pretty. It's pretty short.
It's pretty tiny. Yeah.
I feel like 7 is kind of the cutoff. Like 5'7", no one's calling you tall, but I also think you can like.
It's like
kind of get by.
Yeah.
When you hear 5'6", it's like that's a girl's height.
For sure. Yeah.
It's tough.
It's tough. A guy who I dated, he was actually talking to me about the other day because I liked this other guy who was my height, and he was like, "Hannah, what are you doing?" And I was like, to be fair, the first guy wore lifts in his shoes when we first started dating, so I was like,
cheating.
That's cheating.
They're getting good.
How do you even wear lifts in your shoes?
So
I'd be very uncomfortable.
I get hit with Instagram ads a lot for these things.
How tall are you?
I'm 6 foot. I'm like,
what you been Googling, bro?
Yeah. I don't know. There's a pair of, like, it's not even lifts. It's like a full ass pair of shoes that actually don't look terrible. They're like white sneakers that look like, it's not like Nike or Adidas or whatever, but it looks like it's just could be like a regular pair of sneakers. And it gives you like 2 1/3 inches or something. It's like a lot. And this guy is doing like man on the street, and he's like, "Why don't you try these on?" And the guy just goes up like significantly. And then there's ones that are like liquid, like gel, like they're not hard. So I don't know.
So
I guess it's comfortable.
But you're putting them in...
I don't know. I've never worn them, man. I've just seen the fucking videos on the internet, okay? I'm 6 feet tall, I swear.
But you're putting them in regular shoes?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know how
you can put that on comfortably.
Yeah, if you're putting those in your...
It's like women wearing heels. It's not about comfort. It's about getting fucked.
Right. Beauty hurts.
Beauty is pain. God.
I remember I was getting... in elementary school when like frosted tips and shit were like all hot.
Oh, yeah.
And I had that like... They put like the shopping bag on your head, and they go in. It's not a shopping bag, but it's like some kind of plastic thing they put over your hair, and they go in with like a hook, and they like hook out hair, and then they paint that, and then that's how you get like the highlights.
Not how I get my highlights. Not how you do it. Or I'm not blonde anymore, but I was for a while.
It was like some kind of hook.
It's like tinfoil or whatever, right?
Yeah,
no.
Were you getting it done at like a kiosk in the mall, or was it like a real place?
It was.
Were you in 7th grade?
I was super young.
Your parents weren't paying to get you there.
Parents like, go get a garbage bag. We'll do this ourselves.
But I was sitting there crying openly, and my mom just goes, "Beauty is pain." I was like, "What the fuck,
God,
dude?"
It's true, man. She set you on a path early, man. I feel like if you could go back in time and stop the first girl to make high heels a thing, or to make like makeup a requirement, what do you think you would do?
Oh, it's either or. I wouldn't stop either of them.
You like both?
I mean, I don't like to wear heels every day, but I like the option. I also think I look a lot better with makeup. I think men should have to wear makeup.
I think we're getting to the point, slowly but surely.
But here's the issue with men's makeup is they're not marketing it right. They have
it's always like makeup for dudes.
Yeah, it's like there's a men's makeup
pretty girl
called War Paint.
Yeah,
and like the guy who like needs to put on his
look like
War
William
Paint
Wallace
isn't going to be the first to over the wall of that.
He'll be the very last,
right? Like,
well, with me, I don't even like to wear a ton of makeup, but like I have acne, so that helps with that. I'm not as like worried about my face.
Yeah. It's like Photoshop in real life, and guys forever have just been walking around like, well, I am ugly, and there's nothing we can do about that. It's like, well, there is. I think we haven't gone into like I don't think makeup's gone into the mainstream, but I think skincare has. It's a novel concept for men. Where it's
I
like,
think what it is,
don't
we
just wash it
idolize
with
you guys.
like,
You know, like women have always been like chasing men, like that's a whole thing. So it's like our eyes have just accepted that is what you look like, and now we're making our own money. So like we're like guys, slowly realizing that you guys aren't shit.
Honestly, really, what it is, it's just we're just slowly losing ground. You know, like eventually you just realize, oh, they're ugly and they're fat, and I don't need them.
It's so funny. My friends like they'll be like worshiping this guy, and then it'll be over, and they're like, and you know what? He doesn't have a fucking job, and he's ugly. And he like lives with 5 people. I'm like, he's always done that.
That was all true before, dude. There is no worse feeling than getting out of a relationship where you realize you were the idiot, and you're like, oh, all your friends are like, I feel like so stupid when that happens.
I don't.
You don't care?
No, dude.
I'm always like, man, you guys knew a long time ago, huh?
I don't ever like anything. I'm just addicted to everything. So I'm just like...
on to the next one.
I'm like, damn. And someone could be like, they didn't have a job, and they were this, and they were that. And I'm like, I know. I miss them.
It was great.
Yeah, mine is more like, I don't really get into relationships, but they'll be like constantly sending me red flags. And then it's like when I just got bailed on for the 3rd time. I keep talking about this, but then everyone was like, "How did you not see it coming the 3rd time?" I was like, "I think I did."
Like stood up on a date, you mean, or
yeah, 3 times in a row by the same person.
See, I don't. I've said this
and
before.
I went the 3rd time.
All right, so like first time, it's just like okay, whatever. He had to change the plans.
He bailed 2 hours before because he was like in a relationship that he was coming out of.
Okay, red flag number 1. Second time,
it was like they didn't break up. They were gonna break up. They didn't break up. 3rd time, it was actually he lives in New York. It was in Miami. He was like, fly down early. We'll go to brunch.
He's from Miami?
No, he lives here.
Okay, got it.
Wouldn't see me here, but I thought he would meet me for brunch, which is hilarious. And then I was like, all right, I got to change my flight and have a layover. He's like, all right, sounds good.
No.
Bailed
What a motherfucker.
And that was the only reason you were going down?
No, I was going down for a trip,
okay.
and like he was like, "Oh, change your plans, come with us on this, that day." None
That's
of that
still
happened, by the way.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah,
God
but
damn.
it was like the 3rd time, and all my friends who like knew the situation and knew him were like, "Hannah,
he's gonna do it again.
He's gonna do it again." And I called him. I'm like, "He did it again."
No fucking kidding.
They were like, "You're a fucking dumbass."
Yeah.
I'm like, I know.
The red
as long
flags.
As you know, though, you know.
I said before, like the red flags. I don't see red flags as red flags. I see them as yellow lights. Where I'm like, if we just hurry up and get through this, it's gonna be smooth sailing.
That's how I was like, no way this guy's this big of a douchebag.
Yeah.
That was my head. I was like, no, there's no way.
Give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Sure, there's a little hurdle, but after that, it's
almost a good thing that he's bailed on me twice because there's no way he's bailing on me 3 times.
Yeah, no one gets hit by lightning 3 times. Unless you're fucking standing with a metal pole. That's just me.
In the rain. I do have to say that is indefensible. That guy's a fucking asshole. But I still think guys are still figuring out like that your feelings just radically will shift based on having sex or something that happened or running into an ex or whatever.
I think that's what killed me. I hadn't slept with them yet.
Yeah,
it's like
that's like in the moment he wants to, and then I don't know, he sleeps with someone else and he gets like scratches that itch and he's like, never mind, or whatever it is. But it's like, again, that guy sounds like an asshole. But I do think there's a lot of times where guys are making plans or saying I love you or whatever the fuck it is, because in that moment they really are. They're like, I'm into this, I want this, and then I don't know, whatever the fuck happens in our dumb testosterone male brains, it's like, nope, never mind. And you seem like an asshole, but it's like, I'm sorry, I don't know how to behave. I'm a fucking caveman.
Yeah, that's why I don't really date, because you guys are like puppies. It's like
going
to a date, I just imagine it's like any little thing can like change your mind.
100%. It's. I wish it wasn't that way, but
mine isn't. I don't. Yeah, I guess.
I do. I very much.
You just said you don't like anyone. You're just addicted to them.
I'll tell you what. It cuts a lot deeper coming from another person. I say it to myself. I say it to myself. I'm like, that's a silly little trait you have, and someone else says it's like, Jesus Christ.
I mean, I have very much. There have been times where I very much believe in like don't sleep with someone right away because my feelings have radically changed on someone after sleeping with them, and I didn't want it to, and I didn't think it was going to happen, and it did, and I was just like, fuck.
Yeah.
Damn it! I wish that didn't happen because I've been acting a certain way and saying certain things.
Well,
and
I
now...
almost think that's an argument for sleeping together fast.
Get it and figure it out.
Because then you rip the Band-Aid off.
Totally. I guess
I used to try to do a bit about that.
What's that?
Like, get the sex out of the way, because then you really get down to if you like them.
That is a good...
Because if it takes a little while,
well,
I'm not a person who rips Band-Aids off.
You just leave them on.
I let them really
come off in the shower,
sink into me, and like
it grows over.
It ends up needing to be surgically removed after a while.
Oh, like a hoarder can't get out of his house.
It becomes like it's like Detroit. Like the Band-Aid becomes one with my skin, and like that's gonna be a real pain in the ass to get off now. It would have been easier just to take it, but
yeah. I've had the problem is if there's enough time before you sleep together, where you've hung out and had conversations and started to get to know each other, and then it's like, oh yeah, this is gonna work, and then for whatever reason, bad sex or even good sex, but you just change your mind, whatever. It's like, fuck. So we either should have done it right away, or I shouldn't have said those things, you know?
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm gonna wait now. Like, I'm just like not sleeping with guys because I'm like, oh, I should wait to like get to know them. And so as a result, I haven't had sex in 7 months. So I'm like,
fuck that. Yeah, like you're gonna be waiting a long time.
I know. I'm like, basically, I was like, should I go back to church? Like, I was like, what am I doing? Because I know that's true. Like, I used to be like, oh, it doesn't matter when you sleep with them, and it absolutely does.
Yeah.
And it's like, you can't change genetic, like.
That's the thing is, like, I know I can't, like, defend it because it is going to hurt your feelings or come across as, like, inconsiderate or insensitive or whatever, but it's also just like, I don't know what to tell you. It just happened, you know?
Is that how you do it? I don't know what to tell you.
My bad. But I guess then, like, I think as you get older, at least I was like, you start to recognize that. So it's like, don't act that way in the beginning or whatever, because you know things might change.
So you used to love bomb girls?
I guess so, yeah. Yeah, if I, in the
what was that? I'm sorry, I missed it.
Love bomb.
What's that?
I think like in the beginning I'm like very cutesy and lovey and like into it. Yeah, it's like don't be too over the top because
I was picturing something exceptionally different.
What were you thinking?
You think Love Bum was?
I thought you were saying love bum, and then my mind I thought you were saying you love bum girls, and instead of picturing girls with nice bums, I was picturing women in BUM equipment. You know what I mean? Like instead of the juicy couture out sweatsuits, they were
exactly what you're talking about, and it's
you
one of your
thought he was like a cheater and like gave them like sweats after they left.
You know what I mean?
The BUM with the little dashes in between.
And I thought that was a specific type of girl that I hadn't heard of.
Love bum girl. I mean, I hope there are some love bums out there. Hope there are girls out there wearing bum equipment.
Girls with nice butts. It would have been really pleasant. Instead, I just pictured chicks in bum equipment sweatsuits smoking cigarettes and saying the N-word.
What kind of girls are you hooking up with?
That's what someone who wears bum equipment. I promise you, they're saying the N-word.
So what's cooking now? I feel like you've kind of been growing over the last like year or so. I feel like I saw you popping up on various podcasts and just like doing more on the internet. I feel like you're kind of on the rise.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. What do you say? I feel like based on my bank account, it's things are going down.
Well, someone just did a renovation on their apartment.
Yeah, so. And I sunk all my money into this apartment, and then.
And where is this?
It's in Soho.
Okay, so it was $1 bajillion for.
It wasn't that expensive, like to buy, surprisingly, and I bought it when the interest rates were still good.
Smart.
But then renovations.
Listen, if you're buying in Soho, you're doing all right, girl.
Yeah, I want a lawsuit though.
Hey,
let's go. Buy a cab?
No, you know USC. Did you guys hear about that lawsuit?
Yeah. With
the
Aunt Becky.
That's a different one.
That's a different one.
That's where my mind went right away, but I was like, "There's no way she's."
I thought maybe like you didn't get accepted or some shit. Wait, what's the other one?
That's fucking funny because that is what popped to my mind, but I was like, "There's no way that's what she's talking about."
I'm Becky in a bum equipment suit.
So the gynecologist, he's been like he molested women for years, and he forced me to have a pap smear, and like did like a lot of crazy shit. Literally I told people and everyone was like, "You're so dramatic," and I was like, "All right." My first comedy blog ever.
Said that?
Yeah, my friends were like, "Hannah, like pap smears are so awkward," but it was like it took over an hour the appointment, which like does not take an hour. Like, it was like, and he was like saying things, asking like if I had a boyfriend, like while it was like so crazy. And my first comedy blog ever was like a Zanga type of thing, or a WordPress. First blog was called I Lost My Virginity to the USC Gynecologist. And so I ended up like using that to submit to like my case, because it was like so creepy, and I just like made a joke out of it because I was like, this is so insane. And then all these women came forward.
This is like a doctor on campus? Is that how something like that works?
The resident gynecologist. And like what he did was girls who'd never had a pap smear, which was me, or he liked Asian women, so like girls who were coming over from China and stuff, he would like do a lot of really bad things, and like, but they didn't know because they didn't know U.S. medicine. And then he had a closet full of vaginas. They were like, did he ever take your picture? I was like, he fucking didn't. I was like, he didn't take my photo. He was in there for a fucking hour, and he decided not to take a photo.
Like, how, I imagine you didn't see this closet. Like, were they like wallpapered, or was it like in a binder?
I think it was like any other psychopath that has a bunch of photos just like tacked on.
What the
Yeah.
fuck? This is not the lawsuit I was thinking it was.
Yeah, no.
The Aunt Becky crew thing is a lot lighter.
Yeah.
That's
Anyway, yeah, not to bring it down
crazy.
too much, but yeah, I was able to buy an apartment in Soho with that. But it was like, people are like, how can you put a price on that? Like all this stuff, like going to a doctor who does that, and then finding out that I was like gaslit for years, because I had told people like I didn't see a gynecologist after that for 5 years, because I was like
never go again either. Yeah,
so scarred. And then so it's like, and even now, like I have anxiety going to the doctor. It's just like shit that lives in you forever.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So
I mean, yeah, like the people hate the regular doctor experience.
Yeah.
Let alone the fucking
I wasn't
assault
molested
version.
by one. Yeah.
Surprised you haven't been, but
Yeah. That's on the docket.
John's been improperly dealt with by teachers and babysitters. You have not checked off the doctor yet.
But unfortunately, they don't have enough money to settle with you.
Oh, dude, I get nothing, dude.
Yeah, if you're gonna get fucking forced to watch porn and have your body touched, at least do it with someone who's got their own practice next time.
Dude, the porn one I didn't even care about was the fucking school teacher with the ears. That was weird.
Wait, what? School teacher with the ears.
Yeah, it was
he would
just like gentle massaging of his ears.
Play with my ears all the time. He's my fucking computer science teacher in middle school.
John, you're being dramatic.
It is
It's called a free
things.
massage. I don't know what the problem is.
It is funnier. I feel like if you're gonna have something like that happen to you, it's better as a kid. Because you don't even know it's bad. Like I didn't even know. I told these stories on the.
I don't
If you're
know
gonna
if I
get
agree.
molested, do it when you're a child.
I wasn't molested. It was just
Yeah,
like they
that is
touched me
true.
weird, and it was like
That is true.
Like when I was telling the stories, I was like, "Yo, this is a fucking funny story," and then like
everyone got silent.
And then like Asa Akira was crying. I was like, no, you're handling it wrong.
It's funny.
Like, it's
It's
funny.
a joke, guys.
She's like, no, you were
molested as a
assaulted. I was
kid.
like, no.
Oh, maybe.
Just describe assault. And
I mean, if it was a girl, it would no questions asked. Everyone would be like, that girl was molested by her teacher. And with John, it's like
who was it? It was fucking not Rude Boy. It was fucking I can't think of his name.
someone here.
No, Rude Jude.
Rude Jude.
And he came on, and you were like, tell him a story. And I told him a story. In the way, do you know Rude Jude? He's a radio.
Got the voice you're talking about.
Yeah,
He's like, hey man. He was probably like, listen man, I've seen some fucked up things, but you got molested.
Yeah, no, he's pretty close.
Right? Yeah.
I told him a story. He goes, didn't he skip a beat? He goes, you got molested. And the way he said it was so goddamn funny.
And if that guy's saying it's molested, it's fucking molested.
You got molested.
I mean, like ears are a weird touching point.
Yeah.
And it's
Yo,
like,
you touch my ears, that's for sure sexual touch.
yeah.
If I was a little kid getting my ears rubbed, I'd be like, what's happening? Oh my God. Like knowing
like
now.
something about your neck too?
Yeah, that
So
whole
it's like,
area for me.
I'm like there trying to get across the Oregon Trail.
Did you move faster though? when you were doing it?
Grueling pace.
I'm about to die of dysentery molestation.
I mean, I guess getting a fat check is at least better than
Oh yeah,
nothing,
so that's how I'm doing well. Yeah, I'm doing great.
Oh man.
But
That's. I mean, seriously though, it is good that like I'm assuming it was like a class action type thing, like multiple.
Yeah, well, it's
people,
funny.
so-
I had a joke about it on stage, and my friend who was in my sorority, I hadn't seen her in 5 years, and she like came up to me at the show, and she's like, "Are you with Gloria Allred?" And I was like, no. And she was like, "Why don't you get in this lawsuit?" So I call, and Gloria Allred, she represents like all of Cosby's victims. Like she's very famous.
She's
There's
the Tigers
sure.
too, I think, right?
Yeah, I mean, she's done all.
Yeah.
And I didn't know who she was, so I called. I was like, "Hey, can I speak to Gloria Allred, please?" And they were like, "No."
Is G in the house? Let me talk to her.
Said my friend met with Gloria, like, went in. So she's like, "I met with her, blah, blah, blah." So when I called, I was like, "No, my friend talked to her." They were like, "No."
Also, is Michelle Obama available? I need to have a chat.
And then so I was the last person to get in on the case, and it's because my friend randomly came to this show that night and saw this joke I did about it. Yeah.
That's great for you, but probably so shitty for someone else who didn't. Like, imagine didn't get in.
Yeah. Well, because I
like,
called originally.
Wait, me too.
Yeah.
Well, originally I called the school to because it came out as an LA Times article, and I called the school to be like, "Yes, this fucking happened to me. I fucking knew it."
When you first spoke up, did other people, like everyone was just kind of dismissing you, but were there other girls like, "Wait a minute, me too," or you didn't find out till the article?
Till the article, yeah. And my friends
Fucking crazy.
friends. I texted my friends the screenshot who I had my roommates at the time, and they just respond, ... sorry.
Yeah, fuck you. That's the ultimate. I told you so.
But I called the school, and they were like,
Are
"Yeah,
those still like your good friends?"
Yeah, they are.
That is hilarious.
Damn,
I would hold that over them for any other argument. Oh yeah. Remember the assault
the situation. What do you want me to do?
But with this lawsuit, I was like, "I'm putting your fucking numbers." They were like, "Please, we'll testify for you."
Like, right this wrong and fucking speak up at the trial.
Even I called my mom after the appointment, and she was like, "Well, Hannah, they're the doctor. Like, they would know what's appropriate." So, even my mom was like, "Whoops."
I just lose faith in every institution in the world.
I always think about that.
Add doctors to the list.
I always thought I never got that. I just figured if you were a doctor, you're a doctor. As a kid, as a young person, you're always taught to look up to certain fields, like police, doctors. Things aren't going great.
They're all fucking assholes.
Yeah, and then you're like, I was thinking about it recently on a plane, and it was because captains, you're great at your job. Everyone's great. And then you realize, oh yeah, some people are just
mediocre at their job, and then there are
shitty or creeps
people,
or they're also smart and a psychopath.
Well, it is now looking. I don't go to male gynecologists.
I was just about to say that is a red. Feels like a red flag to me,
right? But it's the school's guy.
Yeah.
So it's it was my first time ever going. I didn't have sex till college, so I never went to a gynecologist.
Oh, so you really didn't know that this is off?
Yeah. And I got a UTI, and I was like, I don't want to have a pap smear. I remember telling him, I'm in a lot of pain. I Googled it. You can just pee into a cup. He's like, the Google, huh? Stuff like that. And, basically, patronizing me to make me feel so stupid.
Yeah, right.
So he could do all this
says.
weird shit to me. And
Can I ask,
I'm so sorry.
I don't think this is really relevant. What is a pap smear? I've heard it before, but I don't know what it is.
It's an exam. So he was
they do the whole shebang.
Yeah, but he was in there for a while, and I was like, and at one point he goes,
That's
"We got
not
a
a good
giggler
name
on
for
our
it.
hands."
It is a terrible. I mean,
because it sounds like you're just getting wiped with something.
But I don't know. Pap smear sounds like a not enjoyable.
Yeah,
And it's not.
But if it's more invasive, I thought a pap smear was just you get wiped with something.
You're smeared.
Yeah,
like a bagel, just smear it on.
That's living in New York.
Actually, that's what it should be. It's they just swipe for whatever they're looking for. But this guy was really smearing it. Just say emphasis on the schmear with this guy.
Oh my god, that is. Yeah, I mean, I feel like just everybody you find out, there's just terrible. I don't know if there's other male gynecologists who are fine, but to me,
it's male kindergarten.
It is. It really is. Somebody the other day said it about someone on the show was like, it's babysitters. If you're a girl, it's great. If you're a male babysitter, there's a problem,
Well,
and that's why priests and Boy Scouts and all that shit are always they were hiding in plain sight for so long. But a male gynecologist, I think, should borderline be illegal. I don't care what, you could be the brightest doctor in the world, and you want to fight against cervical cancer or something. Nope, sorry, can't do it.
And
you're just not allowed to.
I'm sure there are some who are just great people and great doctors. Too bad. That's not how I.
That's what I'm saying. It's just sorry.
Well, my friend who's in residency right now, it's there is a level of competition with certain fields because it's like dermatologists, it's the most competitive because of the hours. So like gynecology would be the similar thing because if you
wait, so people want to be dermatologists because hours are good?
Yeah, it's like in regular office hours. No one's calling in at midnight being like, I have a pimple. What's up?
For sure.
So I think gynecology is similar. I don't know how it works with like pregnancy. I think there's like a different. But so I guess you could, if you were a creep who wanted to be a gynecologist, you could use as a defense, like, I want the hours and the pay is high. Yeah, exactly.
I'm a morning person. Later, yeah. Here, let me do this pap shrew with my dick. I'm a morning person. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, but I agree. I think it should be, I don't know. It's like my I know a hairstylist who's a straight guy, and I guess he was like hitting on some of the clients, and I was like, yeah.
That really shouldn't, that's one I never thought of. You probably shouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah,
like this is like their safe space. They come here and they like, talk shit and they're just with the girls. You're ruining the vibe, dude. Brilliant. Up until you're the creep.
There's an episode of Modern Family where Claire goes out with like Cam and whatever their names are, I forget. And they bring their friend, and all night she's like letting him feel her up.
Thinking he's gay?
She's changing in front of him in the dressing room, and he's like caressing her. And he's like let the Cam and his husband go home, and she's like, let's stay out, like let's go hit the club, and they're dancing and stuff like that. And then like he goes to kiss her. She's like, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. And he's like,
you've been giving me signals all night.
All night we've been hitting on each other. That's what I would do with someone like at a hair salon. Like, I've been. You've been cutting my hair. I just figured you were gay.
The bar is just so low for everybody in every profession, I feel like now. Just don't be a horrible... Did you see the video of Keanu Reeves carrying stuff?
That was crazy.
Crazy.
Wait, I didn't
He's on set of John Wick 4, I think, and he's just helping like the crew carry, these big black like cases that have all this shit. And, people were like, Keanu Reeves is the man. He is. He's fucking awesome. But I don't think because he carried a couple...
I don't know why I had the response I do. Because I saw it towards the other end where people were now coming back being like, why are you praising this guy for helping? Like, I don't know. That's not his job.
I saw... So I mean, I kind of see both sides of it. It's like, it probably shouldn't be something that you get like... Actually, no. I think if he's the only one doing it, and it's
right.
Yeah.
Well, I think also he's known as like a very nice guy,
the best,
and like no one has.
Best.
Yeah, so people, that's up to the internet. The internet goes crazy, and then the other side goes crazy back at them, and that's such internet. I don't think he was doing it as a PR stunt.
Not at all.
So
no, but
it's
I guess my point is more like, let's talk about like he donates like all of his money to charity. That is why Keanu Reeves is awesome, not because he carries the fucking bags. But I don't know. That's also something like I've done when we've done like a live show. I always feel very awkward when they're doing all the work and we're just like sitting there. So I'm always like, can I help? And usually we're just more in the way. But then I remember hearing
vividly one time when we did at
your apartment.
Yes, I remember it too.
Yeah.
we were helping like our salespeople and stuff like that carry stuff out. They're like, you guys are the only guys who help with this.
It felt good though. They were like, you're the only people at Barstool that would ever like do this.
And I was like, thank you for the recognition.
Yeah, totally.
I'm gonna keep doing it forever.
I also it did take like 6 hours to break down that set, and I was like, I never want to do this again. That's what you guys get paid for. I'm never doing this again. But I did. One guy quote tweeted it and said he was a bouncer or maybe a bodyguard for Mike Myers.
I saw that. Okay, that's his tweet I saw.
Yeah,
because he was responding to the response.
Yeah, it was the back and forth. And this guy said Mike Myers fired him for looking him in the eyes. His job was just to stand outside his trailer and make sure that only Mike Myers went in there. And when he did, he looked at him in the eyes, and he got fired on the first day. And then 3 more people got fired on their first day as well.
There's a reason why Mike Myers isn't still working today.
I guess
and Keanu Reeves is. I feel like
I would have thought he was cool.
I know, that's really disappointing.
He's Canadian.
He's Canadian, yeah.
He's Canadian and a comedian. It's like
he's Austin Powers.
I think also
goofy
that's the
and
reason
funny.
He's not working today more so than he's rude. I think he's Shrek and
he's typecast as that.
No, I think he's just.
He's got all the money in the world
because he's just still working. He was in fucking what was it? With the Tarantino, Inglourious Bastards. He does more drama roles now. Very small, but he.
And he had that. Show where it was like a competition show where people came on and did comedy and he was the judge.
Yeah?
I don't remember what it was called, but
The looking in the eye thing, I'm always like, what do you?
How do you get to that point?
I almost.
Ellen
don't
and
believe
Kanye.
What do you
and,
mean you can't look someone in the eye?
But that's you've heard enough of those that it's like this can't be.
Yeah,
it's made up.
It is the. But there is also a different line too, where in Veep, Selena Myers fires one of the Secret Service, or just reassigns a Secret Service member because he like laughs at something someone was saying. Yeah. And I actually kind of get that.
Well,
the Secret Service was like, you can't be
responding
on my time. To fucking conversations we're having. Like, you're not an audience member here.
I wonder if some of those like looking in the eyes are like you were gawking at me and like snooping and it just got played off as that, and you never like the other side of it never came out. I can't fathom being a human. That's like you can't look at me.
I was an assistant before I moved to New York. I won't say to who, but it was to not even an actor. Like, it was a director, and he was such an awful person that like I do believe someone with Mike Myers' level of fame
would be that way.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, I worked out of his house, and he wouldn't let me keep. It was like freezing in the winter, and he wouldn't let me keep the space heater on for more than an hour at a time because he said it was running his bill up. And mind you, he had a house in the hills with a pool in the backyard, and he bought the house next door as a guest house for people. And he's telling me I can't run the heat for more than an hour at a time. And I was like shivering. He's like, may I suggest bringing a parka? I'm like, we live in LA. Like, what are you talking about? Like, no, it was just wild.
It's unfortunate.
Not that famous, like known, but not like, megastar type shit.
Well,
not that it would even.
I guess you know his like work, I guess. And then when I got my job at Comedy Central, like we had to do it was like SNL, like several auditions, and I found out that the vice president saw my application and goes, she worked for blah blah, like give her the job and I only lasted 6 months, and like I found out I was the second longest hire he's ever had in 13 years. I feel like that's a badge of honor. It felt like you shouldn't have to go through that, but when you do, and you're like you get the appreciation and the recognition, I feel like you can. If I can get through that, I can get through like anything. Yeah, well, I was Pauly Shore's assistant first, so I was his assistant for a year, and Pauly was the one who got me the job, and he was like, you work for me for a year, so this guy's fucking crazy. You can handle it. And I was like, honestly, I miss Pauly. Pauly was kind of crazy, but like he took me on the road. He let me do hosting stuff. He introduced me as a comedian. He got me at the Comedy Store. Like, he wasn't like the most sane person to work for, which I think he would agree with me on that. But like, he at least saw and respected me and like helped me get where I wanted to go, as opposed to like, I don't know, this other person who like yelled at me all the time, and like people would be like, hey, how are you? Like, when I was on set with him, and they'd be like, he'd be like, she's working for me, don't talk to her, type of thing. Is that like I wonder like why those stories, and I know it's because the society is more interested in salacious negative stories, but like, is that a chicken and the egg thing? Like, 'cause you hear about it so often. Like, is that shitty people end up being better, more dedicated at their jobs, or you get to that level and you're like, now it's time to be a shitty person? I think it's more like people are always yesing you, so it's like you don't really have you're not really in reality anymore. And if you're making a lot more money, your expectations are higher, and your way of living's a lot higher. So it's like, but I just think there's enough people who aren't assholes that get money, that it's like, you're just a dickhead. Oh, no, I think you're originally like a dick. Yeah. You start as a dick, and then you become like insufferable because you get everything you want. And you think where you're at is where everyone's at, and it's just not. So you're like I had to, one of my jobs for him, he was dating a younger woman. And we were going on a date with a younger woman. He made me go to restaurants and see the lighting to make sure it was dark. That was one of my jobs. Because he wanted to like be on the low because he was dating younger women, you mean? I guess. And I was just like, I mean, she was of age. Like, it wasn't anything illegal. I hope. But like, no, she was of age. But I was the older. Statutory rapist scout. I'm like, I should be careful what I say. No, she was of age, but like I was 24 at the time. I think she was my age, and he was like in his 60s. So, wow. But like, I was like, I don't know how they met. I don't know, like, maybe she, if you looked at the guy, you wouldn't be like, oh, this guy's in his 40s. You know what I mean? I went to the restaurant and checked out the lighting, and that was my job for the day, is to go to restaurants and like check it out. Or he was like, okay, you can come in late today, but you have to go to restaurants after. And this was like I was like,
did you know at the time like this is fucking batshit crazy, or you were like, okay, this is how Hollywood goes?
It was kind of like one of those things where I was so focused on stand up anyway that I was like, I gotta go to this restaurant, but it's near this open mic, so fuck it. But like,
two birds, one stone.
Yeah. And it was like I would house sit for him, but like then I would notice there were a lot of cameras in the house. It was just like very creepy in a way that I was like, I don't feel comfortable. Yeah.
Dude, I do not get down with that. And it's obviously different when you have a ton of money.
I want to say that on the record, too.
I was going to say something different. The new age of cameras in every room, I don't understand it. I think, like, it's...
I mean, what, like in people's houses?
Yeah, like regular-ass people. Like, it's different if you're a multimillionaire, I guess. But, like, I hate... going into Airbnbs now. I hate going to, like, I have a friend's house who I went to recently in DC, and like every room has cameras in it. I'm like, I just don't like the feeling of being watched at all times.
It's like I don't really have anything to hide, but I don't know.
Right, like I want
say something or do something.
Is it a dog camera or just a regular?
No, the regular. And he was in the military and he works for the government now, and he has kids, and it's like a little bit. But like also, I've dated girls who like their families have cameras everywhere, and I'm like, why are they fucking? Yeah. Even like ring lights, like. I rented a house in New Jersey.
You mean doorbell ring?
Yeah. Like, I rented a house in New Jersey for the summer, like 2 summers ago. And we were out on the porch one night and we rented it, like it wasn't an Airbnb, we rented the house for the summer. And the owners the next morning texted like, hey, you guys shouldn't be on the porch that late. And I was like, what the fuck?
What else are you watching?
And then someone was like, yeah, they have a ring light. I was like, I don't even think to look for those things. I
think ring doorbells are for people who want to go viral.
Or
more than like security. Like, the amount of videos
like, you don't need that much security. The buddy I was talking to DC, like we're out at the bar and his phone's like facing up and he's constantly getting push notifications like moving in the living room, moving in this room. Like, why do you need to know who's walking around the house right now?
Yeah, that's someone with a lot of PTSD.
Yeah, for real. That's crazy.
That's wild. I mean, my friend, he rents a house in Atlanta, an Airbnb, and he was saying,
whereabouts in Atlanta?
What?
Whereabouts?
I don't know.
In the city proper?
It was, in the city.
Any chance it's
I got a spot about 35, 45 minutes south of the airport.
John bought some property in Atlanta. The most random thing in the world. He just bought a piece of property in Noonan, Atlanta.
Send me an email.
John is the most... Let me explain something to you. Let me explain to you. The most impressionable person you will ever meet in your life. You could get him to do anything. He could get one of those pap smears as a dude. Like doctors, people, everybody can just do whatever they want.
I have a doctor's appointment at 3:00. If they say
there's a finger in your ass by 3:30.
Like, I just figured out what that is, and you're right. It does sound like I need one.
So someone was like, "Hey, here's a good investment." He was like, "Yeah, me, random like New England guy who lives in New York. Let me just buy a piece of land in Atlanta." Although. It's worked out, right?
It's worked out, yeah. Oh, Jackie, that's not Jackie. We do have to send Jackie down there. I keep forgetting about that. We owe Jackie a trip down there.
Like the day after he bought it, like a tornado.
Yeah. Oh, it's been bad for Noonan, Georgia since I became a.
Anytime there's like an article or an email, like buy property here, there's something going on.
Oh yeah, there's a reason why.
Yeah. Like
but
there's a reason why it has press.
Now I'm just doing it for like content. Like I'm becoming a slumlord as a joke. It's working out well.
He's just everything's a bit.
Well, are you gonna Airbnb it? Is that your?
No, it's actually not a. It's not a like individual apartment. It's like I invested in an apartment complex. So like people just.
But it is like they rent it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my friend, I was gonna say to the ring light thing. My friend has an Airbnb in Atlanta, and she was saying like their house would get fucked up, so they have a ring light. And she was like,
well, that makes more
someone was roller skating in. It's like no parties, so a girl was roller skating in with 2 cases, and then like all these people were behind her, and then they were like, we didn't have a party. And it's like, okay, like
well, I mean, everybody in an Airbnb is either like filming porn or having a party, or committing like actual assault.
I had
nobody who's just doing it for good.
The literal rollerblade situation happened in my apartment.
That's a nice touch.
In
rollerblade through the door,
dude. It was fucking. I wasn't even moving out on my own. It was me and a friend. This is 10 years ago.
You were moving and they came in roller skates.
We were. Our apartment. The owner was selling it, like for good. Like it was like we had to move out. That we couldn't rent it anymore. They were selling it to someone who was going to live in it, and so. Towards the end of our lease, it is literally St. Patrick's Day weekend. So it's almost a decade ago even now. And this nice couple, it was a very nice apartment in the south end of Boston. And like we should not have been living there. It was actually so expensive. And it was, again, 10 years ago. I did not make money. And it was so expensive that every time I would pay my rent, I would like intentionally fuck up something on the check so they couldn't cash it.
Wait till the next payday?
Back so I could, like my bi-weekly paycheck, my first paycheck did not cover my rent. And so I'd have to wait until I got more money to be able to pay it. And so this really nice place, fireplace, balcony, all this stuff. And this very nice couple, well-to-do looking, is like looking around being like, this is nice. It's St. Patrick's Day weekend in Boston. I'm fucking 24. And my buddy comes in, case of beer, on rollerblades. Like, what's up, boys? And we were like, fuck, dude. No. Like, and like, it wasn't our apartment. We didn't care, but we're like, I don't know if they ended up buying it or not, but our landlord was not very happy after that. He's like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? Like, sorry.
My buddy, we rented a house in the Hamptons, and he had to sign like a million things that like only he and like 3 other people would be, no parties, yada yada. And then my friend jumped in the pool and broke his neck.
Yeah.
And he's been getting sued basically ever since. They were like, what happened?
He's getting sued for breaking his neck?
Yeah, it sucks. It's like one of those things where you just like sue everybody. He's not, I don't think it's not gonna fall on him. It's like gonna be insurance and the pool company and all this other shit. But like, it's one of those things where it's like your name was on the paper, so you're in it too.
Oh, he didn't break his neck.
Our friend broke his neck, and then like it's a little bit weird. I don't even know if I can put this in there, but like my friend's family, who the kid broke his neck, is like suing our friend. But they're like, don't worry, like we're not gonna
it's a real
take
Friday
your money.
Night Lights situation.
It is, yeah.
You're suing Coach Taylor because he didn't teach Tim Riggins, the quarterback, how to tackle.
What is his name?
Was it Jason Street?
Jason Street.
Yes.
I was thinking Saracen. I know Saracen. I don't know the other one. What a show.
I was at a party once in Nantucket where someone jumped into the pool. It was a party, like not quite like what's the X one of Miles Teller?
Project
X. Not quite that, but it was like a high school party in a movie. Yeah, where like everyone's out, red cups, blah blah blah, and someone dove into the pool and broke their neck, and he got booed for ruining the vibe of the party.
my friend, this
like
was
roundly booed, like not like a spattering of boos. Everyone's like, boo!
As he's getting air vacked out. My friend, we went to the Bordy Barn in Long Island, and they have a notoriously tough security, like bouncer, whatever. And he was of age. Everyone was 21, but I think he was like just 21. And his ID, by accident, said he had brown eyes instead of blue eyes, or vice versa. And they wouldn't let him in. And so he went back to the pool. Like, went back to the house to hang out, and that's where he broke his neck. So if they just fucking let him in the bar that day,
no way.
His whole life would have been different.
I fully believe in, like, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, there was a lesson in that. some
I mean,
lesson.
he ended up like against all odds. Like, he can't use his legs, but they said he'd be neck down, and he's only waist down, and like married and kids and living like a good life. But I'm sure.
Oh, he like fully can't.
Yeah. He like broke his neck in a wheelchair for life. Like,
you didn't see the pictures.
Hands. What?
You didn't see the pictures?
What do you mean?
Inside of the pool?
It was like yeah, you know the one with the little shock waves come out of the ground? He was diving like, you know where the pool starts to slant down?
Yeah.
I think he thought he was going to like
clear it.
Almost like that, and he like just, but I remember we felt the ground. Like,
ooh.
Yeah, it was bad.
I'm just not a daredevil. That's the one gift I have. I'm so scared of everything. Like, I don't. That's
the gift you have, is that you're scared of everything?
Yeah, like I don't like to jump from heights. I don't like that.
I'm with you
shit.
at this age now. I have a rule: I don't leave the ground. I stay. I'll like go on a plane or whatever.
Okay.
But like my body will not leave the ground unless I'm like in something.
Yeah.
I stay grounded, literally. Not figuratively, but literally.
I don't have like a hard rule like that, but it's like if someone's like, let's jump off this thing, I'm like,
no.
Go ahead.
The risk reward for that sort of shit, he'll jump off of like cliffs and stuff. Nope.
Yeah, no, I'd rather just take a bunch of mushrooms on the ground.
Yeah, girl. He likes that
both?
too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how you.
Let me tell you something.
That's how you end up dead, bro. That's how you end up breaking your neck.
Off things. So
now you'll just break.
How old are you?
You're
34.
Yeah. That's a good. So by 35, are you gonna like
stop jumping in general?
I'll be dead.
Yeah.
No, I mean like
he's
you
gonna
have
ramp
like
up to
by
jumping.
this age, you know.
No. We actually have said this recently that the idea. I used to love like roller coasters and all that shit. The idea of that, I haven't been in a park where it was even possible in a long time, but the idea of it does scare me now.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I would get on a roller coaster again.
I know my dad used to ride roller coasters with me when I was a kid, and then when he was like, now looking back, he was like 45, and he was like, "Oh, I can't do that one." I was like, "Come on, Dad!"
Oh,
Now
I'm
like,
terrified
I'm
of
like 30,
that.
and I'm like, absolutely not.
I'm terrified of that. Like my kids are getting to the age where they ride stuff now, and I do not handle spinning. If I just stood up and spun around like twice right now, I'd be like, "Whoa, I'm dizzy." Yeah. Like so even like the teacups or little things that just spin, no fucking way. And they're gonna be like, my son for sure is gonna be like a wild child who wants to do like everything. I'm gonna be like, your mom. Go to your mom. I'll be waiting with the picture and the stroller. But
Meet me in the gift shop. I'll get you a T-shirt or something.
Yeah. I'll finance everything. I'll buy it, but I'm not doing it. Fuck that.
Yeah, that's why if I ever have kids, I need to have enough money to have a nanny as well. Because I'm like, I'll go and like get an ice cream or something, but I don't want to be involved.
Business idea: hire nannies male nannies. Gotta keep a close eye on them. But hire them at amusement parks, and they ride the rides with your kids.
Are you looking for a second job?
I'm not looking for a second job. I'm looking for access.
No, they have. That's just called being a nanny.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's already a job. I don't know why it has to be the male.
But no, because I mean, for someone to have, hang on here, for someone to
flesh it out, bud.
For someone to have a nanny that comes to the park with you, that's a lot of money. But you can get
just that.
Just for the hour.
It's like
a babysitter, but you're not.
With one of those people that waits with like a vest.
Yeah. It's like you have the possibility with a fast pass, but also
a human.
Do you want a mildly drunk 20-year-old to ride the ride with your kid?
I'll tell you what. Not a bad idea.
Not the worst.
If the kid has like if the guy has good bedside manner with the kids, so they actually want to like go with him.
Yeah.
You guys are walking into dangerous territory.
Very, very dangerous.
Yeah. You want someone to hold your kid's hand?
like the pedophiles aren't signing up for that one immediately. Here's what I need: an adult male to hang out with children at the amusement park for the day.
If he comes back crying, the ride was scary.
What was that show? The stranger show where the guy would be like, "Welcome to," what's it called?
What is this?
The pedophile show. Where
Catch a Predator.
Catch a Predator.
Yeah,
this sounds like a setup for that.
Recent guest on the show. I cleared it with him.
He was on the show relatively recently.
Chris Hansen's waiting at the end. You're like, do it again. The kid, he's excited too.
I love it. So, what's up next comedy wise? Are you touring? Are you doing spots here? What's going on?
Yeah, I'm doing a few one-nighters. I'm doing April 13th at the City Winery, June 1st, Seattle, and then April 22nd, that weekend, I'm at the Arlington Draft House with Chad and JT.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I said it before, but I really feel like you just start to see people's names and things start to percolate a little bit, and I feel like you're hitting that moment right now. So
well, thank you.
Yeah,
well,
keep it up.
Hope so. Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, thanks.
You got time to shoot a video quick?
Yeah.
Make sure you subscribe to KFC Radio on YouTube to get all the video content. Subscribe, comment, like, and make sure you turn on the bell notifications so you know whenever new video content drops.
I want to say something, but the video has to be fast, so that's it.